Alright everybody, welcome back to what could potentially be, depending on the length of what we have to do, the final episode here in our cultured survival series starring our girl Juno. Now get the men ready to launch a full-scale assault as soon as the mainframe is down. I'll fade rest in your hands, Juno. Godspeed. So all we have to do is shut this mainframe down apparently, which will shut down those cybernetic T-1000, Terminator, whatever you want to call the machines, and then we'll be able to get inside and stop the plans of Dr. Feinstein.
Ah, this must be the research lab. The ACE mainframe is on the 3rd floor.
So we're on the first floor, huh? Crowbar. Okay. What I'm concerned about... what I'm concerned... Excuse me? Now I'm stuck.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
I want to see if I could at least like shoot them and like just stun them or something. I've hoarded all this ammo for too long that I'm just now... You can! It stuns them for a while. Okay. I've been hoarding this thing forever, so I'm just going like, you know, at some point I gotta use it, right? Well, before we start though... The ACE unit secured Juno in an iron grip, and no matter how much she lashes out, she cannot break free once their metallic grasp has closed around her.
Damn it! Let me go, you sorry-ass bunch of bolts!
She summarily lifted up as the ACE unit's glowing red eyes shoot out a scanning beam that runs over her body, disregarding her struggles.
Female specimen identified. Reverting to protocol Cage of Eden.
The ACE units stomp off at a brisk march. Juno continues to lash out until she exhausts herself into impotency. Bouncing in the ACE unit's grasp, Juno's weary eyes see nothing but polished, vacant walls, until suddenly she's descending downwards into a series of prison cells. The tortured moans, sobs, and pleas for help fill the air. Juno's eyes widen in shock as she recognizes famous celebrities and personalities from before the apocalypse, all enclosed in cages like animals. Before she can truly take into her surroundings, she is unceremoniously thrown into a jail cell. Her cellmate, a gorgeous red-haired woman she recognized vaguely from movie posters, looks up at her desperately.
Please help me. You know me, right? I'm Lily Devins, the singer. I shouldn't be locked in here. There's been a mistake. I paid good money to be protected in a luxury room. This isn't right. Please, you need to help me and get out or sort things out.
Specimen 15 identified. Chamber status for Specimen 15 ready. Relocating Specimen 15.
What? Where are you taking me? Don't. Hands off. Hands. No, stop.
The ACE units drag off the screaming former actress as Juno watches on, shaken. What was happening? Why were all these people, once the richest and most famous of their time, all locked up? The muffled sounds of battle continues to rage around her. As time goes by, Juno watches in growing shock and fear as unconscious female soldiers are carried into the same cell she has been locked in. They're in no state to talk, neither is Juno for that matter. She soon falls into an exhausted sleep, and when she awakens, a familiar nefarious face is peering at her intently. My, what a day we've had, eh, Townsend? I suppose it was too much to expect from my hapless assistants to get you to stay put. Still, you're back where you belong now, so all is well.
Feinstein, you bastard. You're going down. The military's gonna put an end to your lunacy.
Military? Haha, yes, Hawk's forces, who were all so close to storming the battlements, touching really.
They'll never let you get away with this.
Oh, but my dear Townsend, I have already gotten away with it. You see, I launched the ICBMs containing the weaponized HAF serum, 45 minutes ago.
Then, the world, all those people you've...
Oh god, yes. All those tired old institutions, all traces of that runaway virus, obliterated. Wiped out, a clean state. But don't worry, you pretty little head. We preserve more than enough genetic material. Humanity will get a fresh start, a better start. Why, I would even go as far as to say we've rigged ourselves to win this time around. And you, of course, are gonna be a big asset in helping humankind rebuild. You will be the template for the ideal human being, the incubator of the new Uber race. Take a...
No.
As the ACE units close in on her, Juno tries to beat them back, but she can barely summon any strength. The knowledge that the world as she once knew it was gone, it takes the fight out of her. The 8's units easily manage to hold her down, and from one robotic digit, a syringe jabs sharply into the back of her neck. Her eyes droop and she begins to rapidly lose consciousness. Suddenly, everything goes black around Juno. She opens her eyes and finds herself in a field of green, of flowers and lush beauty, the grass pleasurably under her skin, the sun shining. Feeling the warmth of the afternoon sky sends Juno into a sort of deep natural bliss. It was all just a bad dream. Silly of her to worry. All was right in the world. For centuries, humanity flourished upon the earth as the ultimate species until the day came when they were confronted by a force that threatened to annihilate them. Dr. Feinstein vowed that he would not let human extinction come to pass in his time. Using every asset at his disposal, he managed to stall the apocalypse and turn it on himself. With the release of the HAF armed missiles across the world, Dr. Feinstein ensured that the Dryadic threat would cease to exist before it even had a chance to get off the ground. Though human civilization was wiped out, as were countless specimens of flora and fauna, Feinstein was confident that the world would adapt and could be reseeded with life, failing that. Furthermore, he had ensured that he had plentiful supply of immune breeding stock before he released the missiles. Under his supervision and with generous application of tailored eugenics, Feinstein would be able to usher in the birth of a new race of superhumans. Humanity will rise from the ashes of the old world, treading upon the ashen corpses of those foolish enough to try and wrest it away from them. So begins the dawn of a new era. Okay, so this time let's make sure we don't get caught, because obviously that's going to be a bad ending for sure. Let's also keep this thing here reloaded. I'm curious, so the rifle's going to be 2 shots. Geez, 2 shots to bring these guys down. I wonder how the shotgun would do, and I'm curious about it. I mean, we have plenty of ammo. Don't we have no, this is a rifle. For some reason I thought we had like an automatic of some kind, but the shotgun's only 2 bullets per. Well, let me tell you, the shotgun's apparently going to be worse, because if it takes 2 and then you have to reload it immediately, not as good as the rifle. So you know what, we're going to stick to the rifle. Now, in terms of goods, I guess we're not looking for goods at this point. We just want a second floor. Get to the 3rd floor, get to the mainframe, reload this. I got to bring you down right now, just because I'm curious what's behind you. Keycard is required. Oh, there's going to be another one of those terminals with hopefully some nice lore information dump for us, which I really enjoy about this game. I don't want you chasing me, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop you far away so that you don't come back and hopefully pincer attack me. Oh god. Doggos. See, for the doggos, we don't need the rifle because we're too fast. Reload. Let's go. Oh, crocodilos too. Oop, oop, fast dude. Okay, okay. There's a keycard. Okay, so that's going to be our 3rd floor right there. Let's see what we got in this terminal. Oh! Oh, the background of the actual animals. How about that? Well, the infection's effects on human beings are well recorded and empirically verified. There is proof that animals too are subject to the effects of the infection. Yeah, no kidding. However, since the infection seems to be geared towards human species, it begs the question, why in the world would the fungal parasite even attempt to target animals? We have decided to run a series of tests on animals most susceptible to the infection, and to record the results of these findings to examine the nature of animal-based infection. Perhaps the findings from these tests will benefit our current primary research concerns regarding the development of the HAF serum. Okay. And we studied apparently the doggos and the reptiles. Infected canine specimens exhibit increased aggressiveness, but that does not seem to impact upon their pack mentality. In fact, their attitude towards the other infected canine is much improved. Uninfected canines are attacked, certainly, but with all cases with human beings, they are attacked without the intention to kill, but rather with the goal of incurring enough wounds to infect. Once the entire pack is infected, they seem to take to banding together and moving as a single unit. They operate even better as a pack than they did when uninfected. Is that the infection's work? Apart from these observations, the canines do not seem to otherwise affected. Their strength, speed, agility, and all seem to be at the pre-infection levels. The only difference is the increased pack intelligence. This is all like stuff that the game adds that nobody would have really blinked an eye. But knowing about it actually just adds even more to this freaking virus. It's insane. That's what I love about this game. Like, everything's explained, even things that don't have to be explained. It gives you like, yo, that's actually kind of intriguing. When exposed to the infection, reptiles undergo an extremely drastic change compared to other animals. We call this forced evolution. For instance, the common alligator, often found in the southern tip of the country, when exposed to the infection, begins walking upright and gains almost human-like musculature in the process. So he's basically Croc, Killer Croc from Batman. While they do not go as far as to manifest the ability of speech, they do seem capable of rudimentary tool-making and higher communication. However, the question as to why the infection is even targeting reptiles is unanswered. The infection seeks out human vessels and drives them to copulate. But since reptiles do not have mammalian reproductive techniques, it begs the question, would they even be interested in human females? We thus lock the human female in with them to find out. The thus corrupted ovum then, instead of manifesting into a human manner, solidifies, using the reptilian seed as a nutritious base, and forms into a reptile-like egg inside the female body. After several weeks of being carried as such, the corrupted eggs in the female body swell to the size of about a goose's egg, and the female subject is compelled to expel or lay them. The ensuing hatchlings that are birthed seem to exhibit mostly reptilian physical characteristics, although their way of standing upright and a manifestation of opposable thumbs is markedly human. Their intelligence, however, is limited at best. While they seem to be able to use some tools, their cognitive abilities are rudimentary, and they rely overmuch on their natural physical talents. Furthermore, all the hatchlings observed thus far are male. This means that the reptilian strain of the infection, biological wonder that it is still parasitic, and thus a dismissible threat. So we're on the 3rd floor. I guess this is where the computer was supposed to be, right? Ooh, yeah. Judging on how many of you guys are here, I would say yeah. Can you... no. I was hoping to lure the other guy down here so we could get all 3 of them together, but that's fine. Come down to here. Cool. Hopefully you guys get stuck there. Nothing here. Seconds, this is it? Well, that's it. Okay. The sleek black monolith towers over Juno, dwarfing her beneath a dizzying, incomprehensible array of flashing lights, vibrant cables, and humming power components and accessories. This is the ACE mainframe, a miracle of technological innovation, and a weapon of mass murder that is Feinstein's last safeguard. There's a slight twang of regret as the engineer in Juno protests the destruction of this awesome construct, but Juno pushes this part of her aside as she places the C4 explosive inside the mainframe. Once the C4 is stuck in, Juno primes the timer and runs for cover as the AC units' coverage of her converge on her in one last-ditch effort. The ensuing explosion rocks the building to its core. The AC units fall to their knees, the red hues in their eyes blinking out of existence as they collapse into an immobile heap. Finally, it's all over. But Juno isn't given much time to rest. She has barely taken a breather when soldiers arrive to find her. Hawk and Peters are requesting her presence at Feinstein's trial. Juno takes a deep breath, gets up, and marches to where Feinstein is held. At the very least, she should be there for this. Is this a trial right here? I guess it's a post-apocalyptic trial. Dr. Erwin Harlan Feinstein, you stand accused of high treason against the government, amongst countless other crimes against humanity. Do you have anything to say for yourself before we issue your verdict? As his name is called, Feinstein raises his head. His hair hangs limply from his scalp, lank and greasy, but his eyes are hard and ablaze with the stubborn intellect that almost derailed the world. Everything I did, everything I tried to do, I did it because I deemed it the best course of action for humanity's continued survival. Feinstein, come now. I saw what you had planned. You were going to arm enough missiles with the weaponized HSF serum to destroy the world. At least go with a clear conscience, old friend. Oh, my conscience is clear, Theodore. I was going to purify this world, rid it, once and for all, of the virus that brought us to our knees. You would have destroyed nearly all life on the planet, wiped out nearly all that remained of humankind. A necessary sacrifice. The world would have been reborn anyway, with stronger genetic materials the weak disposed of, evolution as it was intended. Silence lapses into the room. General Hawk silently places a bullet on the table, then looks at Peters, who nods sadly. He then gazes at Juno. Oh, you're asking me if I want to cap this guy? Yeah. Juno slowly nods at General Hawk.
Then we are all agreed. Dr. Erwin Harlan Feinstein, you are guilty of all you were accused of beyond all words, and we are hereby sentencing you to death by firing squad. Men, take your positions. Do it.
Thus ended the life of Dr. Feinstein, one of the greatest minds on the planet. Though Feinstein was no more, his research and his considerable findings remained. Peter set to work dissecting these findings and finally managed to formulate a viable cure to the infection. However, the cure could only purge the infection in the recently infected, and those whom the infection had run too deep. The cure instead functioned like a lethal chemical weapon that destroyed them from the inside. However, thanks to Juno's recovery of Dr. Sarah's observational research on dried Fend, it became clear to Hawk that his daughter, Eva, was still conscious and alive, somewhere inside her twisted form. General Hawk became increasingly obsessed with recovering Eva's humanity, despite Dr. Peters' repeated attempts to explain to him that this was not a possible course of action. General Hawk refused to listen and frequently locked himself downstairs with Eva, spending long periods of time wordlessly communing with his anguished daughter. Lost in his bottomless depression and loathing, General Hawk eventually ceased to care about day-to-day affairs entirely, and thus left the military rudderless and vulnerable. Without Hawk around, radical elements in the military started to try and take advantage of the power vacuum, and tried to rally others in the military against the civilian population. However, thanks to the substantial contributions of the civilian population to the military cause, few in the military heeded the provocations of the radicals, yet they were becoming a problematic threat nonetheless. With Hawk out of the equation, the moderates besieged Juno to lead the people, believing her to be the best person to succeed the general. When the radicals finally made an attempt at seizing Fort Patton, the moderates under Juno were quick to intercept them.
What's the meaning of this?
That's what I want to ask you guys, actually. What the hell do you think you're doing heading to HQ en masse without orders?
Orders? Hawk hasn't been issued orders for weeks. We've been left leaderless while infected monsters trying to overrun us.
That's no excuse for leaving your post. In fact, leaving your post at a time like this is tantamount to desertion.
Oh? And who's gonna charge us for desertion?
If you go any further, I will.
The Ringer? I should have known you'd betray your own for a bunch of civilians, Taylor.
Where are these civilians you speak of? All I see around me are hardened soldiers who have fought through countless campaigns with us side by side. Your orders, ma'am? Arrested deserters.
Outnumbered and outgunned, the radicals are quickly rounded up and their strength dispelled. Juno swiftly asserts herself as new leader of the joint civilian military collective. Under Juno's leadership, the collective quickly starts to rebuild and restore civilization. However, the infection rapidly reaches maturity across the globe, and a whole new host of dryads are born and emerge to terrorize humankind's fledgling rebirth. However, with Dr. Peters' expertise, the collective is able to weaponize the cure and cleverly convert it into small arms weaponry that proved highly effective against infected beings and infected environment. Though the dryads were formidable, they were no longer the invincible threats they once were in the face of anti-infection weaponry. They could be fought. Defending against the dryads was not easy, however. The contained talents of the collective under Juno's able leadership managed to keep losses to a minimum, while fighting the dryads to a standstill. Eventually, the war of attrition wore down the aggression of the dryads, who eventually decided to back away, leaving Juno and the collective be while they retreated to the greater wilderness. Although the dryads had temporarily been driven back, Juno knew they would return as soon as they sensed weakness. As such, countless new policies were enacted to prepare the collective. Rigorous training and schooling were made available to ensure the collective would both prosper and be ready for any future threat. And there you have it. The end of our journey. So we got
I mean, I think there's plenty of different endings is what I've heard, but we got, obviously, probably the worst one by, the ace units catching us. And I'm not sure if the one that we got is the best one, but it's definitely up there because essentially, had we not done a lot of the things that we had done, the rebels would have probably overtaken the government, which they did not, or the civilian military joint thing. And assuming we hadn't done well enough with the dryads, we wouldn't have been able to hold them back. So essentially, it was giving us like a little bit of a step-by-step, I believe, of the things that we managed to... Epilogue? Of the things that we managed to fend off, or at least keep from happening, based on the choices that we made. Okay, so I did a little bit of research here, and as a matter of fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say we actually got the best ending. Taylor is now basically replaced, Hawk, who's basically mentally checked out at this point. If we come over here to the prison cells, well, we actually have all the rebels. If we come over here to Cassie, bonus post-game content is planned for Casey in the future. Stay tuned for updates. So, as I understand, there's apparently also more content planned for these two girls. And probably for you as well, right? Yeah, as I understand, right now the developers are working on kind of like an ultimate edition of the game or something like that. Which will add a couple of new things and apparently a lot of stuff to do here, post-game. So, I mean, I'm not sure if I'm going to revisit that. I'll keep my eyes open for that. Maybe there's enough interest. I'll probably come back and see the post-game stuff. And we also have Dr. Peters here. Ah, Juno, I must say I was deeply pleased when your presidency was confirmed. See, we're the president now too. I mean, that's the best ending. That makes one of us. I'm not sure I'm the right woman for the job. I mean, rebuilding and running what's shaping up to be an entire country? Juno, believe me when I say those who seek power are often the most ill-suited to wield it. Those who find themselves entrusted with power by others, on the other hand, often prevail no matter what. You will acquit yourself superbly. Believe in yourself as we believe in you. Thanks, Doc. Yeah, I think we got the best ending. I mean, we're the freaking president now. All of our friends are still technically here. We stopped the rebels. The dryads are now slinking in the wilderness somewhere. I think we did pretty good. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the series. As I've mentioned, whenever this Ultimate Edition rolls around, I'll take a look at it, see if it's something you guys are interested in, and maybe we'll come back and take a revisit. But for now, we are finally done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Really surprisingly good game when it came to the story, to be honest with you. I'll catch you guys next time.